Bam. Hi, I'm Seamless, and I'm going to show the thing that actually has my camera. Nope, not that one. Not that one. This one. Yeah, awesome. I am Seamless, and this is a live stream show that people who are currently here at JustinTV/Seamless are here with me live, and you guys are cool. You are cool guys, and the rest of you who are watching on YouTube because you weren't able to make it are also cool, but unfortunately we're not able to interact with me live, which I can understand being somewhat of a bummer. But I'm going to be doing this stream every Saturday at this time, 6 p.m., unless something else comes up, and then I'll reschedule it. But for the most part, you can expect this to be a regular thing, as well as the stream thing. I'm also doing the new series, the Basics of FL series. That's going to be updated every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So that means there was a new one today as well. I'm moving How to Base to every Friday. So every Friday there'll be a new How to Base, which is good because, I mean, I have gone weeks without doing a How to Base, and then sometimes I'll do like 3 in a day. So it's good to have a kind of a regular flow instead. And it will to everyone's betterment. I'm sure other stuff will pop up at like, Monday or Tuesday or something like that. But for now, that's my schedule, and that'll be cool. So what is today's show about? Well, we are basically just going to chat and talk about production stuff in FL. Even if you're not an FL user, some of the things that I talk about, I try to make it as universal as possible. Like, because most things that I do are pretty interchangeable. Like, FM synthesis is going to be the same, and every synth you ever use that has it, additive synthesis, not so much. Hardware is a pretty unique gem. I apologize for that, but honestly, it's the best. And other things like compression and other sort of just ideas of how to produce some things are going to be pretty much the same throughout every DAW. In fact, if you do get good enough at this sort of stuff, you will know how to do whatever you want using whatever you have. So that should be fun. So I'm going to look at the chat. Let's see what people are saying. It's not that weird that you know where I live or that you have my Skype or my Facebook, just because, honestly, you could guess my Skype. It's not that hard to figure out. But I've also said where I live, I think, once or twice. Oh, look, it's Seamless. Oh, look, it's Harmer. I wear hoodies all the time. I'm never not wearing a hoodie. I just love hoodies so much. I don't really like t-shirts. I look awkward in them. Workflow question. If I'm making a bass riff, dubstep, complex, stuff like that, I always end up with patterns at 816 bars long, gets completely lost. Well, how do you get lost? Yes, it is worth learning how to master your own songs. It's good to do that. Someone has my cell phone number. The horror. Harmer 101. I am going to do a tutorial eventually on how Harmer works, but I have to figure out where to start, because damn. How do I sidechain sounds? Yes. Sidechain sounds alternatively using the controller. I'm not sure what that means as a question. Okay. Here's the thing about sound cards is that you would be hard pressed to find a sound card that is actually bad in terms of representing audio. So really, speakers and headphones make a bigger impact on what you hear out of what's coming out of your system. Nobody's ever noticed that I am Seamless in public, but that's probably because no one does EDM anywhere near where I live. I live in a metal town. Let's put it that much. Well, use more than one bass. All right, let's talk about something that we can... I started using FL in 2004. Oh, man. Slayer. Slayer is an interesting plugin, and you should avoid using it at all costs. I have never used Ableton. I'm using XSplit to record the stream, and I have a Logitech something. I already forget what it's called. C920? Yeah. Performance mode. I could open up that project. Let's do that. Why not? I don't really talk about performance modes that often, but I suppose I can. Okay. Gotta find it. I think it's here. And I'm probably going to need to use a launch pad. This is... let's use this one. Yeah. I haven't actually practiced this in a while because I had thought that its use would be much more urgent than it ended up actually being. You can stop. Okay, this is using it. I don't want it to use it. Disable. I want this one to use it. Yeah. All right. I actually have a couple more things in here. Do I cooperate with fans? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure you're using that word if you're talking about collaborate. I do some collaborations, but very sparsely. I'm already forgetting how this project works. Okay, MIDI. There it is. All right. So I think we work now. There's no sound because I have everything muted. I kind of remember how this goes, so that's good. But why do I have a filter engaged somewhere? See, I was trying to make this work as a like transitional performance, and it wasn't really working out so well. Like we're gonna do more. I'm gonna do a stream every week. Okay, so 4 of them. There we go. Okay, I could probably get the camera to angle down to show what I'm doing. Let me see if I can. Further. Yes. All right. There's my launch pad. There's my bag of chips. Bag of chips can leave. Or bag of chips can stay in the background. It can just sort of be there. I'm fine with that. It's so bright. So weirdly bright. I'm not running Automap on my Launchpad. In fact, I don't have any drivers at all installed for my Launchpad. FL Studio is interpreting its MIDI directly as its own thing. Is there a way I can make that not bright? I guess I can move the light. It's a little better. Okay. I'll have to bring that back down if I ever start, showing my face, because it's actually kind of dark in here. Do I hate any genres? I kind of hate trap, but I don't so much think I hate trap as I just hate the trap music that I've heard. This is probably what that is. All right. Trying to find what this filter is. Where is? See, that's the kick and snare. It's not the EQ. It might be EQ over here. There it is. Okay. I was using the EQ as a filter. I'm not really sure why, but I was. All right, looking up. Dude. Looking at people in the chat. How FM and AM works. I'll get to that. I might as well get to that. I'm really just going to show some stuff about performance mode. So, the way that this works in FL is that you turn on performance mode by going up here, going to performance mode, and then it's on. It's actually... it wasn't even on. That's weird. I'm not really sure why it worked. But the way that a launch pad, like a pad-based controller like this would work is that it interprets, you see here they're labeled, these squares. Like there's cuts in here, but it's really only interpreting this whole area as the square kind of deal. And so then, like you see here, I'm triggering it. You also see how when I have more than one thing in a pad, it'll automate in between the pads. So that's why I'm able to do stuff like hit one more than once to get two different sounds. So like, that's the lead. It was engaged. And the way that I got this to work is that I cut up the stems for the track connector, which is actually over here. This is the, I rendered the stems out. See, the way that I did bass antics was originally, which was the first launchpad thing that I did, I actually did it inside the bass antics project. And so I cut up the MIDI patterns and the automation and all that stuff, and I used that and triggered that instead of having stems like I do here. And you see I also have calibrate over here because I was going to do connector, bass antics, and calibrate as one launchpad performance. And I'm still planning on doing that, but I'm not really sure when I'm going to, because this is really goddamn hard. Just letting you know, it's extremely difficult. So yeah, I'm actually gonna bring in my other launchpad, and so I want to show you what I was trying to do with this song that ended up making it way too hard. All right. I don't know what the hell page this is. It doesn't know either. All right. Probably because it's engaged here. I don't know why it to be. I'm running more than one FL right now. Yeah, see, it was engaged. The wrong FL. See, this is the one I'm using to do my voice. I have input 3 is the mic, and then Maximus is doing. And I also have an EQ without it on. This is what I sound like without the voice correction on, and this is what I sound like with it on. So that's why I do that. Actually, let's check to make sure that I don't have latency-esque things set. This should be. I don't have. Okay, good. So that should make the sync up a little bit better. I burped. All right, let's go into here to make sure. Yes. Okay. There it is. All right. So here's the lead pad section. Can you even see this? Let me make sure. So this is. You can kind of see it. I guess that's fine. This is my FL launchpad. Here. You can see it has the Fruity logo. There are only 10 of these. I have one of them. And contrary to popular belief, I did not win this at a competition. They just sent this to me so that I can make the video that they used to promote the competition. And this is the Ableton one. I actually bought this off of a friend. And I still use it. You can set up your keyboard to do performance mode triggering. You can do that. I don't know how. You can also set up like a keyboard. You can set up really anything you want. You can do it like with a mouse. You just click it manually. But any kind of controller that can be accepted as any kind of input into FL can be used to trigger pads, one way or another. All right, should all be disabled, but you're not for some reason. Oh, that's the sequenced lead. Okay, I see what's happening. So I have two lead pads. I have this one. So, okay, let's talk about what I was trying to do here. I have two different lead pads set up. I have here the sequence one, which I'm going to disable, and then I have the performance one, which is this one. Let's see if I can remember how to play it. So that's that one. All right, now I gotta remember it. So as you can see, that's kind of movement intensive. And so then what I decided to do is that instead of doing that, I had sequence versions of it, which I just fucked up already. So you have a lot of options in terms of what you can do in performance mode, but I decided I want to be a badass and play the rhythm section with my right hand, which is this whole thing. Which, as you can see, is hard enough on its own, and then also play that with my right hand, which, like, see, having played the piano, I know that trying to do all that without any kind of practice, you're going to fail at it miserably. But damn, it is hard, and this is not like it's not my brain. Yeah, so I'm going to find a more reasonable way to do that. I have an i7 3770 set to stock. Let's see, is this going to show up on the screen? Hope it does. It should show you. Yeah, it's going to show up. So you can see the various stats: 3.5 gigahertz quad core, 32 gigs, 64-bit kind of deal. I'm also running a GTX 670 for my various video gaming and video editing antics. I'm not really going to do EQing tutorials. Just because, I mean, I can, I suppose, and I suppose I will since I'm doing the FL Studio Basic stuff, but I don't, just because there's a lot of resources for that elsewhere, and they're all pretty accurate stuff. I've learned it mostly just by doing, and also through various other resources that you'd find online. So you should also, I want to point out, I'm not using any kind of sync function for any of this. And that's because, I mean, you can. So this is the kick. See right here, this is where you'd set up your options for sync and all that sort of stuff, and you have all the options, any kind of normal one you'd want. And the reason why I don't use sync is because when I do, if I wanted to do 1/4 beat or whatever, just by the nature of digital latency, if I were ever to get off time, I would hit it and then it would hold it and it would wait until the next sync moment, and then I would just be off time forever. So I don't really do that sort of thing. Why does people want me to say bananas? For real. Okay, I said bananas. Will there be more competitions? Yes, there will be. Eventually I'll do another remix competition. In fact, I might do one when something happens that I've been working on for a long time becomes public knowledge. So I'll say that. That's right, you started this. And I don't think anyone's going to end it. What do you mean dissonant basses? You just make a bass and then make it off key. That's pretty dissonant. Sandstorm. Yeah. I've actually never talked to Dave from Boy in the Band. I have not. So I think I'm done with the Launchpad stuff. We've talked about that for a bit, and we got the connector thing going on. Eventually, I'll do a more full-fledged tutorial on how performance mode works, but I think I did a pretty good job outlining how this stuff sort of is laid out. For now, Control B. And here's all the stems for stuff. Boy, that was an interesting time, wasn't it? I thought it was going to be an ad. I'm not familiar with how that stuff works. So I'm going to go do, and I'm going to get rid of these. There. Put the camera back where it belongs. Looking at me. I'm all dark and crap now. Okay, so let me fix the lighting situation. Really? Now you can see my shiny forehead. All right. Okay. A little short. That's better. I'm really bright and really contrasty. Like, it's really contrasty and stuff. But that's fine. It's not really important. Looking at the chat. Any tips on making good DMB Reese bass? Really? Well, you know, I have never actually just talked about bass like a Reese. So why not? So let's go over the etymology, the anatomy of a Reese. I'm going to do that with 3x OSC. Because why not? Is that out of phase? Man. So, what a Reese basically is a two or more. I mean, you can have more. It's two saws detuned to each other. Doot. So let's see. I'm gonna actually turn off one of these. Let's turn this guy on, and then turn this one off. Or is that one just on forever? I haven't used 3x OSC in forever, so. And now you got a Reese. The other part of how a Reese works is lots of chorus and lots of like distortion and pitch effects. What do I mean by pitch effects? Well, we already used what is considered a pitch effect by detuning two saws next to each other, but the rest of it is that you want to have more difference, more pitch sort of difference in that before and then after and then before distortion. And the easiest way to do that is to put on a chorus before distortion. Doesn't really sound like a lot, but then where's Wave Shaper? And then another term people like to throw around is frequency splitting. Now, why would you do that? Well, this also has to do with pitch effects, because if you have different effects at different parts of the spectrum, a very larger difference in the sound will appear as a result. And I'm actually going to use Harmer to demonstrate this, because this is why I often refer to Harmer as like the holy grail of resampling, Reese stuff. And this is why. So okay, so let's for 1 second, let's pretend that Harmer isn't added as a synthesizer. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a note down in E. I'm going to engage unison. So now we got our detuned saws going on right now. Now, frequency splitting, what you would do is that you would have your detune, but then you would apply a different levels of pitch effect on each part of the spectrum. So like, let's say I did a split at this part here, and then I did this. All right, so and then I did this. So what this would be is that if you did a split at this is 4 octaves, so I guess at E2 that would be like 300, 400 hertz right here, and the 400 hertz to like 1,000, and then 1,000 to like 5,000, and so then that's where you did your cut, and then you put a chorus effect here, a chorus effect here, and then a chorus effect for everything else. And just for simplicity, let's just do that. So then you did 3 different chorus effects. That's more or less what would happen. It wouldn't be as cool, but then it would. And that's what would happen if you have that kind of different pitch affecting going around before your distortion. And then, of course, you could have additional chorusing after the distortion. And then more distortion after that. This is where resampling comes into play, because what you do is, and back in the day, before you could have 1,000 plugins and effects on stuff, you would have this effect, and then you would render it out and run it back through, and then run it back through. And that's kind of what I do in Harmor when I do resampling, because I make a sound, and then I apply some unison to it, and then I distort it, and then I render it out, and then I put it back in, apply some unison to it, then I distort it and render it out, and that kind of thing. So that's what, that's kind of how Reeses have been done pretty much forever. Have I, at any point, I mean, was that a reasonable explanation in terms of stuff? Did I mention? I didn't mention how to lead. How to lead is definitely going to be whenever, because I have no idea. Are ads on right now? Okay, let's talk about my projects that are in the cool stuff folder. People definitely have taken my tracks and tried to pass it off as their own, and pretty much whenever they do, and anyone points it out to me, I contact them. I tell them to stop, or if they're released on a label, I contact the label, and that's an even bigger problem for them, because labels, when they have access to Beatport and iTunes and stuff like that, if they get copyright takedown notices, like enough of them, they lose their distribution status. So that means that if I tell them one of the artists ripped me off, they clamp down on that so hard and really fast. So really what ends up happening is that if people rip off my stuff and try to use that as like their ticket to becoming a signed artist, it's going to ruin their career really fast. So I don't want people to do it, but it's not really as big a deal as you think it is. I actually don't really remember any of their names, because I deal with them, and then I have no reason to remember, and no reason to know them ever. I don't really like using vocals in general. Like, I prefer instrumental things. Like, even in metal and stuff like that, I've always preferred instrumental stuff. But I'm not averse to using them. I just prefer not to. So I don't really have a huge amount of experience in doing stuff like glitch vocals and whatever. In fact, in the Sometime track with the glitch vocals of Vila in there, that wasn't me. I didn't do that. That was Nucleon from the Image Line forums that went and did that, and he did a really good job. So I totally fine. And they did that so they could show off some of the stuff you could do with Harmor. I'm actually already on Monster Cat's network, but I'm not gonna. I might have a release or something with them in the future. I don't have anything really planned. I have at no point contemplated doing anything with UKF. Monster Cat, they didn't want any of my tracks because they've already been released, quote unquote. I have them all on my SoundCloud, so they don't want to release non-exclusive stuff. And so for the longest time, whenever I make a track, I just put it out. So that sort of turned off a lot of label opportunities. But I don't particularly care about label attention in general. But let's just say there are things that are going to happen in the future. You probably couldn't see that, could you? I should probably capture layered windows. Yeah, okay. Now you can see when I do drop-down menus. I gotta look at the stream to see what that did. Yep, okay. There it is. I'm not doing massives. Composition and arrangement. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about composition and arrangement. Do stuff until it sounds good. And if it doesn't sound good, what does sounding good even mean to you? Like, think about tracks that you listen to. that have an arrangement that you like, and then analyze what makes them work. And I'm not saying copy them because that'd be douchey, but when you see what works in a track, like you can do kind of like what they do, but you need to do exactly what they do. But if you know how to do what they do, then you can work from that. You can use that as a stepping stone to create something yourself. I mean, it's pretty established like composition trends and music that we make, so it's a pretty easy place to start. I like that sound. What exactly? Why? I mean, it's somewhat of a joke how bad I am at making melodies. You realize that, right? Like, I'm not. There's a reason why my 50 video tutorial series is about how basses are made. Like, I'm not good at that sort of thing. Actually, I will show you guys a song I'm working on. Let's do that because it sort of illustrates what I mean by how bad I am at this. Bandpass. Pick a scale and mess around. It's pretty good advice. All right, so this is the track I'm working on. It's got an ARP. It's cool. So, see how I have 3 goddamn layers going on here? It's because I can't make supersaws. These are. I even took the chords from Sometime because like that was like the best chord I'd ever made. And I used it again in Connector, and I never wanted to use it again because I kept overusing it. Which is G's. I think I covered acoustic treatment and stuff in my 5K QA video. Oh, by the way, I'm going to do a 20K QA video, so keep your questions in your mind. Eventually, I'll have a video for you to ask questions on, and I'll answer them when I reach 20,000 subs. And if you are not aware, I'm reaching 17,800 today, probably. Maybe tomorrow. So okay, let's look at this thing that I'm making here. I'm gonna play it, and just prepare yourselves for the worst chords. All right, it's probably loud. Here it goes. Okay, so these chords. I have a bass underneath. It's also hard not to just do stuff that's already been done, like really hard. Like, I mean, it's the reason why I like, evil sounding drum and bass a lot is because you typically don't need to worry about melodic composition so much. And if you do, it's probably something really dissonant and like evil sounding and Phrygian. All right, well, I'll show you my understanding of how supersaws are made. In Harmor, anyway. So, supersaws are basically all about stacking unison. Someone once told me that this worked. Yeah. Something I like doing in Harmor that's kind of cool is that if you engage the phaser, there's actually a special mode called frequency, where instead of attenuating the harmonics like this, what it'll actually do is this, which is somewhat crazy. And if you do it really lightly and with a different sort of shape, like I'll just do something more interesting, like so. Look at that, it's fucking weird, but so now you get a really kind of interesting looking sort of pitch wobble. And then what I like to do is I add a whole nother one. And this one will add more focus to the sound. So I'll still have lots of detune and whatever, but it won't be so many. Maybe some prism just to differentiate the sound. And then add a bit of distortion. Reverb. Some compression. There you go. I have an entire how to bass on how to make those chords. It's how to bass 15. They cover how I made the chords in the track sometime. And those are the same chords that I used in Connector. So that's the same exact process. And it's a little bit more focused than what I'm doing here with the super saw kind of stuff. And like that's a passable kind of sound, but it just whenever I use them, they sound like crap. You have that bass going on beneath it. Where do I work? I don't work. Alexander Winter, he contacted me on my Facebook page, and so now we're talking. Not about much, just because he's a very busy dude. He just sort of established contact, and we're like, hey, we should do stuff together. And I'm like, yeah, totally. And then that was like 11 days ago. And then he posted a really weird picture on my Facebook page. If you haven't seen that, you should go look at it because it's kind of funny. Yes, I do mean Sabat. So okay, here is self-employed. So here's me and money. So the whole reason why any of this is even possible is because I live with my mother. And this means that I don't really have bills. The studio that I'm in, it is a studio, like I built it, but it took me about a year to do that. I did some jobs, but then I also released a sample pack through Black Octopus Sound, and I also sell my projects. I also, made the deal with FL Studio to have my tracks in there, and a bunch of other like sort of odd job stuff that have netted me enough money to support what I do. But again, that's only possible because I don't live on my own. I live with my mom, and my mom's the best thing that ever happened. So that's sort of what's up. I'm 24, by the way. I'll be 25 next month. So there's that. High-pitched bass. I'm going to show you a fun thing you can do with Harmer. I'm going to get out of this project. I actually covered this one time, but it's like the most straightforward way to make a high-pitched bass. So I'm going to... Is that high enough pitch for you? I think I have a reasonable one up here. That's one of my oldest ones. I don't even remember what that was. How much time do I use on the track? I do anywhere between 15 and 40 hours per track. More have been done on some, and less have been done on others. Ultra low. Oh, ultra low. Okay, I want to show you another fun, cool thing you can do in Harmer. So there's this detune function that you saw me do for a second ago. I want to explain a bit. I covered this in some tutorials, but this is still just cool stuff. So look at the harmonics here. Right? So detune. It moves the harmonics away from the fundamental. As you can see, the fundamental is still there, but these guys are moving away. So if I, make them really high like that, and then, do some craziness, like, what was I just doing? I am particularly fond of this position. But then if I play a stupidly low note, see, like the note that I was just playing is up here. That's the bass note. I'm playing one 4 octaves lower than that. And why does that work? Well, it's because the harmonics are moved so far away that if I play a note that's that low, these 2 harmonics become the fundamental frequency. And then we get something really interesting, because the way that this is moved far away from the fundamental, these harmonics are in the correct harmonic position, but they're still, the information is being applied differently. Like this harmonic that's here is, I think, this guy, and these are up there are usually not so close together. So that's a very interesting thing you can do. So that's like 4 different layers of bass you can make. And I made a couple with that in mind. That's what these ultra low settings are. I have no idea who Getter. I mean, I know who Getter is, but I'm not super duper familiar with his work. The WAP sound. I'm not sure what that is. It teaches how to make a subtractive synth using GMS. Why using GMS in particular? Like, some people have asked about doing things in particular with GMS, and I'm not really sure why, to be honest. I mean, it's not a bad synth thing. It's fine, but it's just like, it doesn't really excel at any one thing, and it's like kind of weird. What do I do in my free time? I do music all the time, forever. For all the times. How did I make the 3rd drop? I used gross beat and just manually edited stuff. Bass modulation with Maximus? You realize that's a compressor, right? I mean, you can do cool stuff, but like, it's not super duper. It's made by I mean, sometimes I use Maximus as a special kind of distortion tool, just by virtue of how it handles life. I made one good lead. This is actually the lead from Calibrate. It got a kind of 80s vibe going on. And this was kind of similar to like how the Supersaw stuff works. I have lots of unison and stuff going on. I think some of these, yes. This one, see what I did here is I actually changed the main articulator for the unison pitch to actually go down in time. So instead of it being up here, it actually decreases over time. Didn't do that for B. That's what B sounds like by itself. But as you can see, as a result of lots of compression, it gets drowned out by the clean tone of part A. Josh does want to chat on Monday, so that's what I'll do. Make fat beats. Didn't I make a Making Out for Anticoder? I never did that? Wow. I can't believe I didn't do that. I forgot. I haven't do that. I'm going to do that right now, actually. Let's do that. I'm going to record myself burping, and I'm going to resample it in Harmer. This is a wonderful experiment. This is a wonderful use of my time. This is precisely what's happening. I'm actually going to mute this because it's going to use the input that's already being recorded. But I want this to be louder, so I'm going to maximize it. Do. This is me talking. This is me talking. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. I got to make myself burp. I'm out of Mountain Dew, damn it. Sounds like here. Ah, wow, I'm like failing at burping right now. That's fine. It's a dish, so we need some low end, some high end. And now I need to compress it. I just compress it, master the whole thing. I need to do multi-band compression to make that work. Testing, test. I guess I also kind of want to noise cancel it. All right, so recording. All right, let's try to burp. This is terrible, man. I need I'm out of like fizzy things. I like that one. Let's take that one. All right, don't record anymore. Recording. All right, let's try to burp. My God, this is the most informative stream ever. Denoising. Bam. Okay. I'm gonna take that. That's what I want. We're about to see the pinnacle of resampling. I don't care about you. Go away. This might be the greatest idea anyone has ever had. I actually did have one guy ask me to do ghost production, but it wasn't anyone known. It was just some dude that wanted me to produce for him. And I did not. All right. This is so ridiculous. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. I'm not gonna resample a fart. That's not gonna happen. All right, let's I should probably go to do that. Let's actually go back to not high position generic. That's actually more accurate. I am busy. I'm like live busy. I don't know what she wanted. I'm the Chuck Norris of FL. Y'all are surprised. I think I might know what I use this. What I'll use this for. That was not my mom. That was not my mom at all. I'm gonna be interested to see what that looks like later. Mm-hmm. Also not my sister. She's not related to me at all. Actually, she lives in my house. I guess you can call her my roommate. There's a bit of a story behind her, and it is long, so I'm not going to be talking about it. Okay, I actually don't want to. Okay, all right. This is. I don't remember how to make a loop. Prepare a time envelope. Also know what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted. Create bouncy loop time envelope. Where's the loop? I don't remember how to do this. It's not something I do a huge amount, but I guess that's fine. This will be my opus. All right. I guess I actually don't want to. Okay. Make a citrus. Actually, I'll just use a preset. One of my BTFMs. vocoded. See, that guy knows what I'm doing. Please let me know if like stuff I'm doing is just meaningless to you, and I will attempt to make it work for you. All right. X, Y. Neat. Just make some automation of some kind. Doesn't need to be anything special. It doesn't need to actually be there. That's fine. All right. All right. And now. This is like Boopa Doopa 2. I can see that happening right now. All right, 11 and 10 is what I have. Oh, look, one of you guys is probably just added me on Skype. Guess what? If I don't know who you are, I'm not going to talk to you. It's just the way the jungle works. Oh, boy. All right. I got that backwards. Because that's not completely gross. La, 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 la. I gotta make this work for me better. Someone else added me. Yeah. Stop playing in the mud. This is a glitch hop, like for real. Yeah, 110, I guess. Let's make a beat. Superior drummer. What the hell time is it? It's not even been an hour yet. Wow, time is flying. I honestly thought it would have been later. See, we're doing glitch hops and we need some kind of swing. Why is everything slide notes? That's not what I wanted. Doot, doot, doot. See, this is going to be on the beats, and these are going to follow. No, you're not on the stream now. Or maybe you're on the stream? I mean, it sort of looks like you're on the stream. You guys, leave my Skype alone. hate all these sounds, but that's okay. You don't need to be on. Let's make you a 26 incher. There we go. Not that short. Mixer, multi-channel, settings, processing, auto maps, output. Bass me like one of your French girls. She's not French. See, I told you it wasn't hard to guess my account name. Busting all my drum sounds. Worst ride ever. This guy. This is my fave. Actually, kind of hate that kick. Let's go back to the other one. Actually, no, let's go to the 24 incher. This guy. Now we have a beat, and this. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? I'm going to ignore this whole burping bass for a second and talk about drums. So, I spend like all my time in front of a PC. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what you want. Make a remix of a popular song, organize a contest. So you want me to have a contest remix of a remix that I remixed? P.S. You can get third-party things in FL to bust out by hitting this little on the wrapper to hit this little thing here, little options menu. Go to processing, and then hit auto map outputs. And you can even like manually tell it where to output like the outputs, and then it will set outs. And then internally in Superior Drummer and the mixer, if you right click it and hit multi-channel, it will automatically bust out groups of instruments. Like it's not just going to go straight 1, 2, then 3, 4. And make sure the kick is 1, 2, the snares are 3, 4, and 5 and 6 and stuff like that. So it's not willy nilly. Like they know what they're doing about that. I'm actually going to open up a project I did with Superior Drummer in a drum and bass track. And I'm going to let that go while I talk about drumming because it loads, I think, 3 gigs of samples because I use all of the bleed in Superior Drummer. Yep, 3 gigs. So let's let that load for a second. And we can talk about the mixing that I'm doing here. I'm not going to hold a contest every week. That would be nuts. I might do one like maybe once a month if I can get like a good rhythm on things, but once a week isn't a lot. So, this snare, the Pearl Sensitone Aluminum, is one that I like a lot, and the Metal Foundry expansion of Superior Drummer. But what you saw me do something kind of specific in the EQ, and why did I do what I did? When, especially in EDM songs, but also in metal, because that's why I own this, because I did metal. The important parts of the snare are the fundamental tone, basically this right here. That's the information you want that cuts through the mix. That's the thing. Like if you do sidechaining, whatever, that's what you wanted to focus on. Everything else is just character. So different snares have different kinds of character, but usually you want to have either this sort of mid high rangy sort of like old school like house kind of tone, or you want really high frequency sort of snap. That's where snap lives. So I tend to do this, and then I also want to get rid of like the sort of mids, because this is sort of unnecessary information most of the time, and especially in Superior Drummer, where I usually have the snare going into the other microphones. So that's why that's cool. But I mean that's the same kind of mixing I do for like even regular EDM stuff. This is still loading. So like in this track, I have a Superior Drummer kit, but I'm also reinforcing it with very EDM normal sounding sounds, because acoustic drums by themselves don't have the kind of punch you want for the high frequency, high like energy sort of EDM stuff. So reinforcing it with very sort of that kind of sound can help you out in that regard. Well, I guess we'll find out in a second what old school snap sounds like together. I think I have done one tutorial on granular synthesis. No, I didn't. I think I've been holding off on doing that because the song that I made that utilized it a lot, it's not public knowledge yet. So I have 32 gigs of RAM. I don't really stack a lot of kicks, especially because, the kick samples that I use that are in FL, these guys, those are already highly processed kicks. Those were made by Toby Emerson to be included in the Groove Machine thing that ImageLine did. That's already a lot of layering going on in there. So like the samples that I use are already pretty layered. So I work with what they are. Like I try to work with as little as possible, and not because that's good or bad, but just like that's what I'm used to doing. I'm used to doing lots of non-layering work, which is why when I showed you that project earlier with the bandpass bass at the terrible supersaws, that the fact that I was layering things was me admitting defeat that I'm not good at supersaws. So, shout out for some sample packs. I don't. Superior Drummer, Metal Foundry, really good. East West Quantum Leap, so expensive. Sometimes some people that I know send me some samples, like BT sent me stuff when we were working on songs together. Yeah, we are actually making, Missing Identity and I are still collaborating. It's slow going because both of us are very busy, but we are doing it. It's going to be good. I decreed it. It's going to work. ASIO for all is good if you don't have better drivers. Like I prefer my PreSonus drivers over ASI for all. But before that, when I didn't have this particular interface, I was using the M Audio one. I preferred ASIO for all over the M Audio drivers in a big way. So there's that. BT is nuts. BT is really good at what he does. People are still talking to me on Skype. I might respond to some of those people, but not a lot. I have no idea. He made some of the sounds, like in the Cell Dweller track. Like he made a lot of the stuff himself because he showed me how. But I don't think he used any of the. I mean, he might have. I have no idea. Some of the like the snares and stuff. Like we actually went through this huge like construction phase just to make an 808 kick. So there's that. I'm confused about your question about Vocodex. I have done like talking into Vocodex about sort of stuff, but like I prefer to use just samples already. And like in particular, one sample I like using is this guy here.
Oh yeah.
And there's a reason for that. One is because it's kind of a low point already. It's already low. And that's important because some of the higher ones.
Oh, are you here to move?
Like the first thing I usually do. There's Dan Merritt. Hi Dan. I know Dan. Dan's a friend of mine. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If he's saying more things to me, I can't see them because I'm not going to open Skype. But I like using yeah because it's low. But usually when I go into vocoded, I turn everything down. Like I pitch it real low. And in doing that,
Don't feed me, baby.
like a sample like that, which in its default setting kind of already has the same high frequency content, is going to lose a lot of that definition by pitching it down.
Oh, yeah.
Not so much with that sample. So I like using that. And like a lot of the menagerie vocodec spaces use that in a big way. One day I'll do a tutorial about how I do streaming and routing and all whatever, because people ask me that question a lot, and it is fairly complicated. But I talked about it before the stream went live, but I'm not going to spend time doing that now. We all have great epic hair because we hate taking care of it, which means that I don't really like shaving, which is primarily why I have a beard. Primary reason why I have a beard. I never liked shaving. I got it when I was 15, and I was like, shaving is boring and stupid, so I just don't do it. Same thing with haircuts. Haircuts are annoying, so I didn't cut my hair. I had thought I was going to, but I decided against doing it. Resample my beard. You know, I can actually do that. Open up Photoshop. I've killed everything, but that's okay. In here somewhere should be a picture of my beard. That's a picture of my beard, but I'm not going to use that picture. Where's the ones? These are, yeah, all right. So this is the one before. Yeah. Photoshop. Bam. It's kind of long, so what I'm going to do is actually that. All right. There it is. That's my beard. Save as desktop. Beard. Or neared. I'm going to save it as a PNG. I believe. I don't know if I can open a PNG. So let's do a JPEG. Okay. I'm going to open it up and rotate it like that. I'm going to open up the chat again so I can see what people are saying to me. Okay. Armor. And this audio file is not what I wanted. What I wanted was open image file, desktop. All right, there it is. I have resampled my beard. It's going to sound awful. Hope you're ready for this. That's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. I just destroyed my drum mixing. That's what my beard sounds like. All right, let me see how I can make this. That's really... That's not what I wanted. That's not what I want either. Yeah, it kind of works. Whatever. Okay. I resampled my beard. Wow, that worked. Wow. Okay. I'm trying to remember how to Oh yeah, I can do that. So there's beard. Congratulations, I've made beard step. I've had music theory. Varian has done tutorials on music theory, and I believe you should watch them because they're all based on basic kind of stuff, and they're geared towards writing EDM things, which is important. my understanding of music theory came about through years of piano lessons and even some college. And it's been helpful, but it's not been like world changing. It was mostly stuff I already knew just from experimenting over the years and then putting a name to it. So I will not be doing a lot of teaching for music theory. Sometimes I do dubstep. Sometimes I also don't really pay attention much to DJ shaping songs, in the sense that like I don't really pay attention to making sure my intros are the right length and the drops are the right length. I mean, the drops are going to be the right length because they're kind of either too short or too long. Otherwise, like, it's kind of you expect them to end in a certain time. But intros and like middles and outros, I just don't care. I don't. Oh yeah, drum and bass song. So it's done loading. So that's what that sounds like. What's that bass like? And then the resampled bass. That resampled bass is actually this bass resampled. It's pretty straightforward. I just cut it up to match the song. Do a neuro hop, please. I don't know who you are. Noisier are basically what I want to be. That's pretty much that. I can do a handstand. I'm not going to do it, but I can. Room treatment. So, okay, when I built the studio, I actually had a friend of mine come in to do the room treatment because he went to college for building recording studios. So the way that we did this is that I had a microphone. I had this microphone. This is not the ideal microphone to do this with, but this is a small diaphragm condenser microphone, and it could do enough of the job that we could do it. And the way that we did this was that we put the mic, we plugged the mic in, and then we turned up my monitors in their position really high. And the reason why we did this is so that we could do we could do the analysis where we put the microphone all over the place, and at the points at which it fed back, which is to say that we basically wherever there was feedback in the room and located with the microphone, we put the little squares. As you can see, the squares are everywhere, and this is because I'm in a cube, and that basically means there's going to be feedback no matter what the hell I do. Placing the squares did a fantastic job of mitigating a lot of the damage. And there's actually a big old trap on the side here, and there's also a couch in the room, so it helps. But and also right behind me, completely parallel to my speakers, is a steel door, which is covered in the things because it's this goddamn steel door, and it's basically like having a mirror for sound. So, I mean, this place is not ideal. This was built with two intentions: one, fitting it into the space provided, which was a square basement room, and two, soundproofing. The walls are made using all kinds of special stuff. The sheetrock is a brand of sheetrock called Quiet Rock, and the way that they do things is that they have the sheetrock, which is normally it's a straight kind of thing. What they do is they actually laser in half the long way and put crap in between it and then put it back together. The one that I have is like the lowest end version, where they just put glue in the middle of it. And that kind of difference in materials is actually what causes there to be sound transmission loss. And because the vibrations have to vibrate through each different kind of material, and in doing so you lose power. So the idea is to have as much crap in like different crap in your walls to impede the progress of sound. And the other thing that impedes the progress of sound is density and thickness. So like the thicker the walls are, the lower the note that you can attenuate. And unfortunately, bass frequencies are kind of long. So that means that you're not really going to attenuate those a lot, but you can attenuate just about everything else. So I have that, and I also have rock wool insulation into the walls, which it's a special kind of, you can just Google it, it's not hard to find. And especially if you're in the UK, that stuff's everywhere. You can get that for stupid cheap. You can make your own bass traps and everything. You can just YouTube Rockwool bass traps, and you'll find so much crap. It's so helpful stuff. The walls are also double thick. I have 2 doors coming in the basement. I can actually show you that I have 2 doors. Door number 1. And then door number 2. That's how you know it's double thick. So that's pretty much what's going on down here. The room with the drum in it, the drum set in it, is actually the corners are actually rounded because in there, the acoustics are super important, but you don't want to do what I didn't hear which is basically to destroy reverberation. Because in there we want reverberation, we just want it to not be terrible. So the corners are rounded to basically be built-in bass traps, and then I also, because it is parallel, it's not a cube, it's a rectangle, but it's just as bad. I put like blankets of crap on the wall to help fix that. Half pony. I have not considered remixing Deadmau5. Absolutely have not. I do love you. And good VST to make electric guitars sound. Okay, so if you have a guitar, you can just do what I did in the pre-show, which was to use Lepu or Lepulin plugins. They are free. You can Google them. They're not hard to find. See, like Pulin, this guy, just Google that, and guitar VST. You'll find a bunch of distortion. And this is distortion VSTs, which is to say, if you just run your guitar through this, it's not going to sound very good. You also need cabinet modeling. And you can do this in 2 ways. You can do cabinet simulation or cabinet impulse response emulation. It's 2 different things. The simulation, I have to imagine, actually involves cabinet emulation, just in a different way. I like to use Guitar Rig. I have Guitar Rig 4. They're out with the Guitar Rig 5 now. If you get complete, you'll get that. But you can have your cabinet simulation, which I have to imagine is just a wrapper for a bunch of impulse responses. So really the primary thing you can do is to get impulse responses. But you don't necessarily need to do that in FL. You don't need Guitar Rig to do that. You can actually go into the Convolver, and the Convolver loads impulse responses for reverb, but you can get a guitar cabinet impulse response and it will do the same thing. It will sound exactly the same if you load it in the Convolver. So that's a way to do that. But this is if you have a dry guitar sound. So you can either do that by having a guitar and then inputting it into FL, or you can get a guitar sample pack. And I would actually recommend a friend of mine's pack, Shreddage. You've probably heard of it. My buddy Zircon makes it. And Shreddage 2 is really good. It's really good. My monitor is 27 inches. It's 1080p. It's kind of big for a 1080p monitor, and eventually I want to get a 2560 monitor. But for now, 1080p. I didn't play the piano resolve. I did write it, though. Zircon is a cool dude. You get an audio interface. There's many ways you can do that. Pretty much how you would plug in a microphone. My interface comes in with microphone / quarter-inch inputs. So like XLR, quarter-inch, like they're the same input. So you can just do that. It's pretty cool. I use PreSonus's drivers. I mentioned that earlier. That's like what I do for that. I do not have an Instagram. Not doing that. I am still recording. This is actually all going to go on YouTube in one big fat video. I might put it in 2 parts just to ease people's minds, and also because I like having more views. That's what that does. Good sub layers. Okay, so sub. Now, when I make a bass, like this bass, there's a sub in there, but there's not a sub layer. And the reason that this works is because I use extraordinary amounts of compression. People still talking at me on Skype. And the reason why we do multi-band compression is because there's a lot of, like, the reason these basses, like the dubstep and the drum and bass re-spaces, are all very mid-heavy. And the mid sections tend to be more prominent and louder, and you don't really want to mess with them, but you still want sub definition. And so multi-band compression will compress, in the case of Maximus, a 3-band variety. you can compress the highs, the mids, and the lows, and this means that you can keep the lows really high. And if I were to listen to the lows by itself, why, that sounds kind of clean, doesn't it? And see, that's an interesting perception I think people have when they make distorted basses, is that you distort the whole signal, and the subs included, and you think that if you were to listen to just the subs, that the subs would be distorted, like there would be more harmonic content, but it's actually not really true, because that's all there is. Those low frequencies is just low frequencies. So, really, I am a fan of compressing everything together so that a single sound can be its own sublayer. But I understand sometimes it doesn't necessarily work out. But and so then what you would do is someone got onto the show. And his name is Master Troller, so that means the master of trolls has trolled me on my show. I feel honored. So what you can do is, you can do this in any EQ, but you can go into EQ2, set it to high pass, and steep 8, and just high pass it, and then through some other plugin, make a sub, and then have it follow the MIDI. And that's just one thing you can do. Like I said, I typically tend not to want to do that myself. Was it low shelf? Yeah. I like keeping the bass, all in one sound, because just like layers, I have a thing against layers for some reason. Not super important. That track is still there. That massive track thing. Like I kind of want. I made a track just to like appease people that wanted to have a massive patch, but I may or may not. I mean, I want to finish it because it is kind of cool. I particularly like the drums in it, but it just hasn't clicked with me, so I never really finished it. It's still there though. I still think about it every once in a while. Okay, so I brought this up the last time I did a stream, which was freaking forever. When I mix stuff and master stuff, I actually make the mastering chain early on in the song. Like my process for building a song is I usually start making a sound, and then once I have, it's usually a bass, and then once I have a bass, I make a couple others and kind of make a drop. And I do that by just throwing sounds and automation all over the place, and to keep doing that until there's a rhythm that I just don't hate. And then I'll make drums. And if this is an electro track, this is pretty easy, just do, 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 and then that's your track. And then I master that. Like that's what I master. And because that's going to be the loudest, most difficult part of the track, right? In terms of balance and mastering. So I do that, and then I make the rest of the track with that engaged. And I do that because your traditional method is that you don't do your loudness mastering when you're making the song, and you do all the mixing just with levels until you're done with the track, and then you master it. And you do that, and the tone of your stuff changes. Like your mix is basically irrelevant at that point. And I know that there's ways to be better about it, and there's like a traditional process, whatever. But like for real, for me, I just make the mastering chain first, and then whenever I make any new sound, any EQ changes I make, any mixing decisions I make will be reflected immediately, and that's how they're going to sound forever. So it's a much more sure thing, and in my opinion, that is my opinion. Not everything is a fact. I don't even know what my mom's doing right now. I might finish it sometime. That is called Superior Drummer. I think I got it. I like Moombahton, but I don't like calling it the Moombahton. I just like calling it 110 because Moombahton is. Why is it called that? Who came up with this? It's slow electro. Why did it just call it that? Slow electro. Can I mix like a DJ? No, because I'm bad at it. I'm bad at mixing like a DJ. I will, however, I am learning. I'm practicing, so it's doing it. With RMing, what do you call it when you're RMing with a pulse that's only positive? You call it that. That's pretty much that. You're making a sound. You're making a DC offset, I guess, is what that means. That's not really what that means, but it's kind of like a DC offset. No, Superior Drummer is a third-party piece of software. Hi, Skrillex. Do I do more genres? I do drum and bass. I do like bass. The answer to that question is yes, but only because I know that you can, not necessarily that I know how. Like I said earlier, I don't really mess with vocals a lot. I should probably tell people what the questions are that I'm answering, because I just realized people are going to watch this on YouTube and have no idea what I'm talking about when I just spout answers to weird questions. And that's okay, because this is going to be a learning process for me, and that means that later streams are going to make more sense to people. And I guess it will also incentivize people to actually come to the stream, which, I mean, I understand that sometimes they can't, but that's okay. All right, so we've been doing this for about an hour and a half. I'm going to wrap this up soon, and that will be fine. How much hard drive space do I have? I have enough. XSplit records very light files, which is good, because Fraps does not. Fraps is very lossless and horrifying in its size, and I would have to care about how much it's recording, but for now it's doing fine. All right, so any last questions? No, Superior Drummer is not free. Focusrite does good stuff, so yeah, that's fine. Can XSplit record games? Yeah, that's kind of what it's designed for, actually. It's designed to do live streaming on Twitch and video game recording, but I'm using it for not that, because I have things I need to do. People still talking at me. My Skype name, my show. Yes, it's my show. Circular panning law is by default engaged in FLCDO. I've never changed it, so I don't really know what, one or the other, but I just use it. Do I need the intro song? I think my intro song should just be just a crazy bass sound by itself, because what else do I want to do? If by the Noisia Masterclass you mean the future music interview, I have seen that. WoW 2. I have seen that there is a WoW 2, but I didn't really see. Let's see. In total, how much money have I put into production? Let's see. Over like the entirety of my years. Now, this is money that I've put in. It does not necessarily say that this money was mine to begin with, but I think I put in about $11,000 total over like 10 years. So that's reasonable. I wanted this to stream on YouTube, but YouTube has like a 1.5-minute delay. I wouldn't be able to have a conversation with anybody if I did that. But yeah. I just covered how I started making songs. Like Seamless was a gamer tag I had, not actually on Xbox Live, which is what gamer tags are called, but on Half-Life 2 Deathmatch, because that's a game I play. How did I learn to bass? I spent 9 years fiddling with stuff until Harmor came out. That's how I learned how to bass. You can use okay. Let's talk about using my music for stuff. So you can use my music for your videos, and I think legally you don't even really need to ask me that. But if you're looking for my permission, you have my permission to use my music in your videos. You cannot sell them. You cannot say that they're yours, and you can also do remixes of my stuff, like, because they're in FL Studio. It's kind of inescapable. But again, they're not authorized remixes, so to say, to the sense that you can't sell them. Don't do that. And you also can't say that we collaborated, because we did not. That's a thing. That's pretty much it, I guess. Good. Use my presets. They're there. They're there for you to be using them. I really, like, originally when I came out with the songs, like the songs are on my SoundCloud, those were all there as like glorified teaching aids to the tutorials that I made. And like, I like them as music, but the purpose is for you guys to learn stuff in case you like what I do. Because again, I'm not saying I'm the best at everything, because obviously I suck at supersaws, but for the bass stuff, which there is like the least amount of credible information on YouTube, that's what I want to do. That's my thing. It is my thing. Actually, since we're here, I'm gonna show you guys some of my oldest songs, and then I'm gonna cancel. I'm gonna turn off the stream. All right. So every once in a while, I upload old tracks onto like SoundCloud and stuff. Like I just put up one called Sunset, which is because like I used to be really into doing like orchestral stuff using a sound font called Squid Font Orchestral. This is one of my favorites. I'm actually gonna. This is a duet. I wrote this in high school. So, I'm gonna put that one online pretty soon. I was looking at it. Someone mentioned Toxic, so I'm gonna show you a song that I made when I first discovered Toxic, and it's called Toxic 2. And it's made entirely with Toxic presets, and like random drum loops I found. Read in the chat. I was given a choice between FL Studio or Fruity Loops 3 and Reason 2, and Fruity Loops just made more sense to me. That's fine. I might put that one online too. I kind of like it, but that's how I used to make songs back in the day. Was just make a crap ton of like beats and then use presets on everything. Toxic had some pretty good presets, and so did Citrus. I'll show you one of my Citrus preset songs. Way up here. Yeah, it's chill, all right. So what the hell was that song called? There was one. I made a song that was like the first time I'd ever made. Okay, I guess it was a drum and bass song, and it was like the first time I'd ever made a bass that I thought was even remotely complicated. It was a Citrus patch, and I used square waves to make a Reese. Basically, is what ended up happening. But now I will show it to you. My God, that was like the pinnacle of my bass knowledge back in like 2006. Yeah, okay. What have we been listening to? That was my really shitty stuff. I closed it. That's fine, whatever. Okay, anyway, we've been doing this for an hour and a half, 2 hours if you show up for the pre-show, so I think this is fine. This was a very kind of free-formy stream, which I don't really have any problems doing, but in the future, I might have something more planned, like actually like a performance or like a topic I want to focus on or some kind of like dealy. And however, the real point on doing this though is having interaction with you guys. Like, yeah, there's a chat. You can talk to me about things and we can answer questions. And I feel like that's important to have in life. So thank you guys for showing up. The guys that did. You guys have been good. And to you guys watching this on YouTube, I'm sorry that I didn't illustrate what people were asking when they asked me questions, because I realize it's kind of weird to have me answer stuff that you have no idea what I'm talking about. And I hope that whatever information you may have seen was helpful for you. And if not, then suggest to me things that you wanted me to do in the future, and I will consider it. So yeah, Thanks for watching. And as usual, have a nice day. Infinity! Cutting the broadcast.